Hi, welcome to Fibertown. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Emily, Chain of Fools on Ravelry and Fibertown on Instagram. And I'm here with my buddy Alice. There she is. Alice. There's our pretty girl. We are chilling on kind of a very gross day here in the DC area. And it snowed on St. Patrick's Day a lot. And we've had some freezing rain, and so you're getting a little view of my messy family room here today because I just wanted to hang out in the chair with Alice and knit and talk to you guys. So here we are. Alrighty, today is the 19th of March 2014. This is episode 58, and I've got a couple of things to do right off the bat, and then I will get into the meat of the show. Let's see, I want to say hello and welcome to Boston Terrier Mom, who is Kathy from Michigan. Hi, Kathy. She, has a Boston Terrier, and the Boston Terrier's name is Cadia, I believe. And she likes to sleep on the back of the couch like Alice does. And she rides in a bike trailer, like a little kitty bike trailer. And they go, of course, not on the road, but they go on trails, and Cadia enjoys the wind in her snout, no doubt. So welcome, thanks for introducing yourself. Let's see, what else do I want to say? Oh, there's an FO thread. Please post your FOs. You can win sometimes yarn, sometimes fiber, sometimes a pattern on Ravelry, so you definitely want to be posting your FOs. If you're brand new, go and check it out on the Fibertown Ravelry group. And yeah, so what else do I want to talk about? Okay, the ASPCA fundraiser. Selcat has met her goal. Doesn't mean that you have to stop donating, but isn't that awesome? So congratulations to Maya, who is Selcat. And we are going to close out that prize giveaway next time I record, which will be next Wednesday or Thursday. What did I want to say about that? So you have one more week to donate if you would like to donate a little bit more. Or if you haven't been able to and you have the ability to do it now, do not fret. Probably next Tuesday or Wednesday will be the last time for you to donate. Let's just go ahead and say Tuesday. Tuesday will be the last day for you to donate, and that will be today's the 19th. I can't do math on the camera. Tuesday the 25th. So that is excellent news. Thank you so much if you've donated already. Okay, you will want to stay till the end of the show today if you don't already, But I will be talking about a giveaway. So there are two giveaways actually, one for yarn and one for fiber. So please stay till the end because you are going to want to see this. All right, I have one finished object this week. I have tons of whips. I have spinning quite a lot. I have dyeing, acquisitions, and up and coming. So do you want to see my finished object? Of course you do. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here. This is, want to see this, Al? This is my scarf that I wove out of my hand-spun Gotland. I haven't clipped off the ends yet, but it's a very simple scarf. I warped the loom. I have a 15-inch cricket, shocked cricket. I warped the loom with the Gotland, and the weft is also the Gotland. Now, warping the loom with the Gotland was a mistake. I'm a brand new weaver. Live and learn, right? I'm learning. That's what I always say to myself. The reason it was a mistake is that the action of the reed going over the warp as well as the shuttle passing through really sort of roughed up the warp yarn and I guess brought out any, it was a woolen spun, brought out any of the, it just roughed it up and it made more of a halo and more of a fuzz. So more of the scales are exposed, more of the scales of the yarn. So what is a super squishy, soft spun yarn, these are the tassels, ends up being not as soft in the weave. But it's a lovely scarf, and don't forget, it's what they wove the cloaks for the elves out of in Lord of the Rings. So it's a nice length. It's probably about between 4 and 5 feet. I haven't measured, but it goes around the neck very nicely. Yeah, I'm wearing all sorts of other knitwear. Sometimes I wear like 2 or 3 scarves. If I have a low-cut shirt, I'll wear 2 or 3 cowls on top of it to keep the areas warm. And so yeah, I don't mind that. So I would definitely spin Gotland again, but I should have used like a cotton warp, or I just knit something out of it. It's lovely. And this was my Gotland hand spun 2-ply woolen spun from Meduseld. Maybe she has more. Maybe I can get myself some more. There it is, woven. It's been washed, but it needs a steam. It's got some wrinkles. So that is my only finished object this week. But I kind of went whip crazy. That happens after you cast off a sweater. And I'm wearing another hand spun object, made out of BFL silk from Julie Spins. And this was the pattern. I wrote up this pattern and I put it on my pattern page. It's a wimple / cowl / capelet. So if you're interested in making one, go ahead and look at my pattern page. I think it's called Moonlight Thingy. All right, so my works in progress. I was knitting on one of them. These are my vanilla socks. And this is the Movers and Shakers colorway from Lollipop Yarns. And there goes a DPN. I am knitting these. I started until about here, knitting it on US 1.5s, 2.5 millimeters. And I switched to US 1s because it's a very small, it's a light fingering weight to me. And I wanted a denser fabric in the heel and the foot of the sock. So I've gone down to a US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeters. And these are my Carbons, DPNs. And I just think you can, once you get in your groove with these, for me at least, and my friend Leanne, she concurs, that you really can fly with these guys. So I did, let's see, I did the cuff, then 1, 2, 3 color repeats before I did the heel. And I have done for the first time a Fish Lips Kiss heel. There it is. And super. I think it's gonna fit okay. I think it's gonna fit okay. I liked doing it. It was not, it was not hard to do. I learned some new techniques, which I like. A couple things crossed my mind, and maybe I feel this way just because I'm contrary and set in my ways, but the idea between the Fish Lips Kiss heel is to copy basically a commercial sock heel because it fits everybody. And I can understand the benefit of doing that, especially if you're knitting socks for others. I rarely do that because I don't have a lot of sock-worthy people in my life. I'm very sock-worthy of my own knitting, so I get the bulk of my socks. I do knit for my children. However, they're here. I can measure their feet. So I can see the benefit of the FLK heel for that. It's going to fit more people. However, one of the benefits of knitting hand knit socks is that you can tailor it to your own specifications. You don't need a heel that's going to fit everybody because it's not made for the masses, it's made for you. So with that in mind, I'm kind of like, And I like it, but is it going to wear well? This is not reinforced. It's how I feel about afterthought heels too. They wear out for me very quickly. So there's that. So I see the benefit of this heel for gift knitting. I'm not so sure about for me. We'll see. I'm going to wear this pair of socks and see how they do. It's a great yarn. I think it's got a high nylon content, but it feels really wonderful. So we'll see how it wears. See how it fits, see how it wears. It's still a question mark for me. The other thing about the pattern, and tell me if you've knit this. A lot of people have knit this heel, so let me know if you feel the same way. If you're knitting a top-down vanilla sock, do you need to make what is it called? A model of your foot, how she has you trace it on cardboard? Do you really need to do that? Can't you just start the heel when you're ready for the heel? Tell me if I'm wrong about that, okay? The other thing is I could not find in the pattern, and again, maybe that's user error, I could not find in the pattern where it says to do your heel over half of the stitches. I'm just assuming that's what the pattern calls for. But I don't believe it says that specifically anywhere. Do I sound curmudgeonly? Oh well. But it is a very interesting pattern. It's well written. It's the conception of it. Props to the person who conceived it. I think the name is funny myself. Not the fish lips kiss part, but the abbreviation, the FLK. If you've ever worked in a medical field, you know, and I've worked in hospitals before, then you know that FLK is a bona fide medical abbreviation, and it means funny looking kid. So it's when you have a patient who doesn't have a specified syndrome or anything, but they're an FLK. There's something quite not right there. So if you look in medical dictionaries and abbreviation dictionaries, you will find this. So I always kind of chuckle to myself when I see it. So my gosh, that was a lot to say about one sock. But do you love this yarn? I love this yarn. Lollipop, movers and shakers, based on the DC Metro lines. You like it, Al? You like that? Anyway, other works in progress. I have my Bare Branches cardigan, and that is by Alana Dacos. I'm knitting it out of Plymouth tweed, which is 100% lamb's wool. And I've kind of been, oh great, I'm in the middle of a row. I've kind of been motoring on this. See if I can, I'm really halfway through a purl row. Well, anyway, this is Plymouth tweed. I'm knitting it on US 8s. These are my Chowgu red lace. Are they interchangeables? Yes, interchangeables. I'm doing the back. This is a hoodie pattern. It's more like a jacket than a sweater, but I think I showed the picture of it last week. I really enjoy knitting sweaters in pieces and seaming them. You know, the seaming is like, oh, did you hear that little groan? The seaming is so, I get so pumped up with adrenaline when I start to seam. I have to do it all in one sitting. I cannot put it down. So I do, it's like, is it gonna work out? Is it gonna work out? This is so awesome. Yay for mattress stitch. So that's a bonus for me because I'm strange, but also I like the fact that it's portable. Boom, I knit the back, I'm done with that. Move on to the front or move on to a sleeve. So I really do enjoy it. And my one concern about this fabric so far is that it's a little dense for my liking. The swatch was dense and softened considerably when I knit it, but I'm thinking perhaps it's not that big a deal if it's super dense, just because it is a jacket type design. And yeah, so what I did, I cast on for, it's supposed to have 2 to 3 inches of positive ease. I cast on, I believe, a size, it was either a 40, I think it was a 42 that I cast on. And it has a hem, and I really like the way the hem is done. It did not take me long, even though it was over 200 and some stitches, perhaps, maybe less. But the hem looks great, and this yarn is knitting up, and I'm almost there, like 8 stitches. This yarn is knitting up to be quite attractive in the fabric. I wasn't sure, just in the ball of yarn, if I was going to like the look of it, because it has a lot of yellow flecking, and that's usually not my thing. I'm not a big fan of yellow. I like it, but I just didn't know if it was appropriate in this fabric. So that's what the yarn looks like. I'm on to the second ball. These are very small balls of yarn, 109 yards, I think. And here is the back. It's a little bit bunched up and curled up, but you can see I've got a good 10 inches here. That's what she said. And there's the hem. Looks really nice. Easy to do. Oops, some thread. So It's got some short rows on the bottom. You can tell it's a little deeper in some places than others. So again, not much to see here. There's the fabric. You can tell it's pretty dense. I'm thinking I maybe should have gone to a 9, but I'm just going to keep going. And then when the back is done, I will block it and see what happens. That way, you know, the other benefit of knitting a sweater in pieces is that if you have a gauge issue or a fabric density issue, you're not going to rip out the whole sweater. You're going to rip out one part. So it's a little mentally easier to wrap your brain around the frogging, I guess. Okay. Last work in progress. So it's not that many, just 3. Whoa. It's really not that orange in real life. That is neon. Dude, Alice, can you see that? You like my yarn? That's orange. It is a sock yarn sweater by Hannah Fettig. This is the 3rd sock yarn sweater I have made. It's a great kid pattern. Just takes fingering weight yarn, and I knit it either on a 5 or a 6. Wait a minute. Shouldn't be knitting this while I'm talking to you. Mess up. So I knit it on either a 5 or a 6. So, you know, a lighter gauge like a lot of the Hannah Fettig patterns. This isn't a mystery yarn. I think it might have been Pagewood Farms. Angie, my friend Angie, gave it to me. It's got a little yellow flecking in there. Mom of the baby recipient picked this out. She really likes orange. So it's going to be for a little baby boy, and it's going to be adorable. It's the sock yarn sweater by Hannah Fettig, and these sweaters, like the Milo, they can be worn for a very long time. And they're easy to get on over a baby's head because the neckline is kind of a boat neck. And it's light gauge, so it's easy, you know, it's easy for a baby to wear and not feel weighed down or have it feel too bulky. So yay. All right, you all want to see my spinning? Spinning, okay. I have spun half of my purple BFL silk. I got another ounce spun this week. I hope this is going to look good plied. I've been spinning it very fast and very dirty. And just, you know, I'm going to hope for the best. So only 4 more ounces to go, then it'll be time to ply. I have 1 ounce on each of the weaving bobbins here. And yeah, some are lighter, some are darker, you can see here. So it's going to look really interesting once it's plied and knit up. The thought is, hopefully, yardage permitting, this will be a Viajante by Martina Baim. All right, so let me put this down here. More spinning, more spinning. Okay. I've had these Gourmet Stash Van Gogh's Paint Box Poonies got them last summer, I think. They're beautiful. I can't remember the content, but that has silk in it for sure. And they're just beautiful. And I pulled out my Trindle, which is probably my favorite drop spindle. I do really enjoy it. It flies like the wind. And I'm just into my 2nd poonie. You can see the green under there, and I'm starting this beautiful blue of blend. It's a blend of blues, actually. Mostly turquoise, peacock colors. And what I'm doing is spinning this as, it's going to be Navajo plied. So I started my first poonie with the blue, and then of course I went into the green. And the second one, I started with the green. So I'll have a longer repeat of green. So double the green. Then I'll do the blue, and then I'll start the next poonie with the blue. And then I'll start the next poonie with the green, and so on and so forth. So I'll have longer repeats of color. I was afraid that if I just spun blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, that I'd have, depending on what circumference, probably make a hat with this, what circumference hat I make, it may not, the stripes may be too thin. So that is super fun, super beautiful to spin. Oh yes, this one. This one, oh, I had the most fun spinning this. This is from my trip to Madison, Connecticut. When I went to Madison Wool, I got the Spun Monkey Mini Braid Fiber Pack. And this colorway was neutral ground. This was so much fun to spin. It doesn't specify what kind of wool this is. I don't really have a sense. I don't think it's BFL. But I spun it my semi-woolen technique. And I spun it end to end. These were little braids, maybe 6 or 7 or 8 color. I think it was 8 colorways. And I believe I took a picture of it. Let me see. And I just spun them end to end. Where are they? Where are they? Here they are. Started with the red. See that? And then there was a black, and then a gold, and then a neutral, and then a brown, and a black, and then a green. I love the way it came out. I just love it. Got 200 yards of a Navajo fly. So this will be striping as well. This will self-stripe. Look at the colors. Ugh. You can't see the green very well for some reason. It's coming out like a brown. But look, there's where the black and the white met. This was just wonderful. Wonderful to spin. And, you know, this is like a hunter green right there. It looks more brown for some reason. But I really love this. And it's going to be a hat. That's it for spinning for now. Got some other stuff on a spindle, some more gourmet stash, but that has been just gotten a little bit, maybe another pony spun on it, so looks the same. Dyeing. I decided on St. Patrick's Day, my mother cooked for us, so I didn't have to make dinner. My husband didn't have to make dinner. The kitchen was free, and I was thinking, I need to do some experimenting to see what I want to do with the rest of my fin. This is Burketta's fleece. It's washed. She is a 6-year-old fin sheep. And I have been combing it. It's beautiful and lustrous. And you can see there's some sort of hay in there still. But beautiful lustrous curls, and I had some of them combed already. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to dye, spin the yarn and then dye it, or spin the combed top, comb the top and then dye it, or just dye the locks and then comb them and spin them and knit them. So I forgot to do an experiment with just dyeing the locks, but I'm going to do that again soon. But I did some dyeing. I was going for a midnight blue, and I was being so careful with the dye. I had the gloves, Turns out I did not mix the dye stock properly. So my first attempt was it didn't come out as midnight blue as I want. But it's interesting, and I think it'll knit up just fine. I did have one skein done of my fin from Burketta. This is one skein. It was much more black than blue, and I kettle dyed this, and I got a lot of areas of white still. So, what this said to me was that if I spin the yarn and then dye it, I run the risk of having a lot of variegation in the skeins. But if I comb the top and then dye it, any variegation I get, I can sort of blend as I'm spinning. So here is, that looks kind of lavender, but it's much more of a dark gray. I tried to make a pony, came out kind of lame. But I was worried that I would felt the top, but it's perfect. It's perfect. It just came out great. And so much fun to spin this. So this is probably the route I will go. I'm also going to try just dyeing the locks before I comb them. That might be fun too. So I did have dye left over. Once I realized my mistake with the dye, I remixed it because there was like a clump of dye powder on the bottom of the jar that I used to dissolve the dye. I remixed it and I put in 2 more skeins of handspun that were both natural colors. The first one was something I had frogged recently. I knit this woolen spun cormo into a hat and it was just not working. So I frogged the hat and I remixed my midnight blue and I dyed the cormo. And it came out much more like what I was going for. And this doesn't look as blue as it is in real life, but very, very, very nice. So this is the cormo. I'm excited to reknit this now. And this is the border Leicester, which was a dark tan. So it's interesting to see how the cormo, which was white, and the border Leicester, which was dark tan, these were dyed at the same time in the same kettle. And they really took the dye differently because of this one is already colored. So that's the fin right there. So it was very fun, and I do have one little sample skein of, I don't know what, I think this is fin too, but it's a 2-ply. And that I put in just to soak up the last dye in the pot. So yay! Very fun. Gonna do some more dyeing. It was just nice to, you know, dirty the kitchen when I didn't have to clean it up and make a meal. So, oh my goodness. Can you see her? She's just sandwiched in there with her head just contorted. Alrighty, that's the dyeing. I have acquisitions. Then I have up and coming and then a giveaway. People are just throwing yarn at me and fiber these days, just throwing it at me. Thank you, people who throw yarn at me. It's the best. So I'm going to show you that in a minute because it's a good segue, but before I do that, just wanted to show you guys sort of a past object. It's the sweater I knit for my son this fall. My own little design, he wanted a kangaroo pocket. And I knit this out of Sirdar Country DK. I have washed this, I don't know how many times, in the washing machine. It's gone through the dryer a couple of times as well, although I try to just lay it flat to dry. This yarn has held up so beautifully. It's an acrylic wool blend. It's just pristine. It is absolutely pristine. It wears so well. So if you can get your hands on some of this Country DK from Sirdar, highly recommend for kids. Oh my gosh. It's gorgeous. I haven't seen it in my local yarn store, local yarn store. But I would really recommend it. I just was so impressed with the wear, how this is wearing that I had to say something to you all. Sirdar Country DK. For kids especially. It's very good. Alright, so yesterday I had an excellent, excellent mail day. I got the silk issue of Ply, and I don't know a lot about spinning silk, at least, you know, anything that's pure silk, and this is it's just chock full of good information. Isn't that cute? It's the only moth knitters like, right? It's a silkworm moth. And then, dun, 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 Maryland Sheep and Wool. The best time of the year. So, as the time gets closer, I can't believe how close it is already, but as the time gets closer, I'll be poring over this. I will be planning my battle attack. There's the map. We'll be looking through all the vendors. Look. See Gourmet Stash in there? Haha! It's gonna be great. I am hoping to be there both days this year. Still up in the air. I will for sure be there Saturday. So we gotta start the drinking game sometime soon. Every time I say Maryland Sheep and Wool, take a sip of your tea. or whatever you're drinking. Okay, as for the people throwing yarn and fiber at me, look what Miss Gourmet Stash sent. She's gonna have these this weekend at the Homespun Yarn Party, and that's in Savage, Maryland, and I'm going on Sunday. Yay! She may not have this specific colorway, but this was a mystery pony set, and I made this sort of crazy noise when I opened it. It sounded like a monkey that, you know, got strangled. They're beautiful. Look at, I mean, it's almost a gradient from like this sunny skies, blue sky with clouds, to a grayer sky, or a blue sky with gray clouds, to the same but with this beautiful, that's a green, like an iridescent green down there. And then it gets darker and you have these beautiful peacocky colors, as well as that iridescent green on some of them, and a black. So amazing as always. Oh, thank you, Kate. When I'm in Spain this summer, I'm going to take ponies as my spinning consolation because I won't have my wheel. I love to spin in the summer. Lots. Ooh. We just got a package. Alice, you gonna let that happen without a fuss? She doesn't bark much, even when people come to the door. She's a good girl. Lots of packages. What did Daddy order? It wasn't me. Oop. Okay. Apologies. Now Alice is on the job. She's such a good watchdog. Do you guys kisses? Do I get a kiss? I get a kiss. Stinker. Oh, I know. Stretching it out. Y'all hear that? Anyway, let's do the last thing of the day, which is the giveaway. Alice is sticking her nose in there. I swear there's not dog snot on it. Okay, 2 giveaways from Miss Kate of Gourmet Stash. She loves March. She has Irish heritage, as well as some other things, but she loves St. Patrick's Day. She's also part Scottish, and she is doing these tartan-inspired colorways. So the very first thing we have to give away to one of you guys, one of you lucky winners, the Black Watch Tribble set. Look at that. Oh, hang on. There are 4 of them. I believe, if I am not mistaken, this is Black Watch Tartan. I believe that's a Game of Thrones reference. And these are 4 1/4 ounces. And they have yak, which is to die for. Super fine merino, bamboo, and tussa silk. They're amazing. They are amazing. So that is giveaway number 1, Black Watch Tribbles. And a good quantity there to spin. The other thing she sent, and I can't, I mean, this could be like a collector's item. She is sending her hand spun to give away as well. And I'm going to take it out of the bag because you really can't see the beautifulness of this in the bag. This is hand spun by Gourmet Stash. It's from Dragonfly Fibers. It's 65% superwash merino and 35% silk. The colorway is Emerald City. It is 1.8 ounces. It is a single, heavy fingering to heavy sport weight. 250 yards. You could get a shawl out of this. Maybe a citron or something. I don't know. It is a single ply semi-worsted spun. And I just have to open this and show you guys. You want to sit down now? Okay. Alice is very curious. Do you see that? It's looking blue, but it's greens and browns. Oh my goodness. This is sort of folded in half. It's amazing. and you could say you have hand spun yarn by Gourmet Stash. Oh, it smells really good. Okay, so I will be opening 2 threads. Now, if you are a knitter and a spinner,